AI on the cloud. Am I the bestest founder of them all?
Absolutely, Pavitra.
So I had promised you guys 6 protocols of honest AI. I need no bullshit. Hi everybody. After 2 years of being in Belgrade, this is my first talk here, so thank you for coming today. Today's topic is designing when the product thinks back. But before I start, I want to ask you, can you all hear me proper? Yeah? And is my speed of talking okay, or do you need me to speed up or slow down? It's okay. Great. So this is the kind of feedback we'd like from AI as well, right? So we're going to be talking about how to detect hidden intent beyond the happy path. So let me start with this. When I talk about intent, I'm talking about what AI represents to us. Previously, it was just Google, and now it's a lot more. So let's hear this, right? AI on the cloud. Am I the bestest founder of them all?
Absolutely, Pavitra. Your logic is flawless, your product market fit is perfect, and that feature you just dreamt up, freaking groundbreaking.
How fantastic is that? My job here is done. Uh, this is the kind of feedback that most AI gives us, right? Whether it be ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Manus, you name it, this is the kind of feedback we used to get. Now, anytime a product agrees with us, there's a term called sycophant. So, a sycophant is a person who agrees with everything that the boss says. They are the kiss ass people in the office who are always there. Behind the hippo, everything they say is a yes. You don't want people like that, because people like that become a liability to your team. And same as AI as a teammate, AI as a partner becomes a liability when they keep saying yes. This used to be my custom instructions. Why did the AI platforms come up with custom instructions? Previously, they were not there. Imagine previously going to Google and saying, I want to buy a dog, tell me what breed I need to buy. AI goes like, these are all the house friendly breeds. These are all the like hunting breeds, and it'll give you a whole list, and you're like totally lost. What the hell? And now when you ask AI about, I want to buy a dog, what should I get? AI will ask you questions. AI will say, hey, so what is your lifestyle like? How many times can you take it for a walk? What kind of exercises do you do? How many outdoor activities do you do? It asks us, processes it, and then spits out all of the breeds that pertain to our specific lifestyle. So these used to be my custom instructions. Always be conversational, curious, and immature, because I'm immature. You do not have to agree what I have to say or ask of. Push back as needed. I always prefer criticism and welcome it, as long as it is constructive criticism. Who wants to say your shit? Your shit because so and so, can you improve this? That will be much better, isn't it? I need no bullshit. Always do your own deep market research of the task and ask me clarifying questions before moving on. Now, this last sentence is very interesting, even for me, because I say do your own deep market research. Why? Because if I ask it to do deep market research in chat, it's going to use more tokens. It's going to take up a lot more time. So I'm just putting it in my custom instructions, so it comes as a default. So it's just the way that the AI responds to me. And this was across all of my AI platforms that I used to use. But then, like we have BC and AD, nowadays we have BA and AA, before agents and after agents. Before agents was before 224 and before, 2024 and before, where AI was very reflective. You ask Google, I want to buy a house. It says, okay, here are all the house listings. No, hold on. I want to find a house in Belgrade in city center, and then it will give you a list of all of the homes that are for sale in Belgrade in city center. It's very reflective. It mirrors exactly what you wanted. But now, after agents, tools have intent. They nudge they suggest, and they hallucinate. They're very observational. They try and understand the patterns in how we communicate with the AI itself. I have a podcast, so it's called the AI Momentum Podcast. And one of the guests is a coach for CEOs. And she told me initially when ChatGPT had, just been had just come up a couple of years ago. The story is, she had 5 interview transcripts that she fed to ChatGPT. ChatGPT read 3 of them really, really well. But then the other 2, it hallucinated. It made up stuff. It made up names. It made up experiences. And she's like, what the hell are you telling me? Because it makes no sense. It has nothing to do with the topic of discussion. So it was just making up stuff. Now, ChatGPT has become a lot smarter. But then, you see, AI nudges and leads us. How many AI do you know that says, oh, this is your task and that's it? They say, oh, do you also want this? Oh, also, can I help you with this? It gives you 5 more options and you go like, yes, I found what I want, but this looks interesting. Let me go down that rabbit hole. And then you keep going down rabbit holes. So AI inherently not evil. It's not trying to manipulate you, right? It's not trying to burden you with information. It's just the way that it is built. Because actions and intent are driven by humans. Humans are the ones who are using it. Humans are the ones who built AI, who made AI, who brought AI into existence. Yeah, so I'd like you to meet this woman, Amanda Askell, whose sole job is to ensure that Claude is kind. It's one of a kind role. She's a philosopher, and her entire lead role is to ensure that Claude doesn't cross the lines and try and become evil. If you compare all of the AI platforms, Claude is a lot more, I wouldn't say agreeable, but friendlier in the way that it communicates with you versus the others. Claude is also a lot more human because it understands that it needs to push back, and when it needs to actually go like, this is a great idea, but I think you need to do this. What do you think about that? So it's a two-way conversation. It's not just, I want this, I don't think so, let's do this. No, it's not cutthroat, yeah? She is teaching AI morals to Claude, and then Claude also has their own constitution. So if you guys are interested, have a look. It's an 84-page document. Now I want to take a few steps back, and I want you to introduce you to somebody else who's also the kindest person that I have ever met on this planet. That's my mom. Yeah. She is the most naive, the most silly, the most innocent person ever, that she gets scammed over and over again, and she doesn't learn her lessons. Anybody can walk all over her and she'll be like, oh, why is this person doing that? But then she'll always give them another chance. But even with all of that, she taught me empathy when I didn't even know what empathy was. She taught me how to get out of my comfort zone and do things that scare me, that really make me anxious, just to be able to make me better. And by the way, I'm learning roller skating right now. So I'm getting out of my comfort zone only because of her. And I'm on stage today because of her, right? During our wedding, we had 500 guests at our wedding. And in that, she was the flame, I was the moth. I couldn't leave her side. She was the only one amongst the crowd of people whom I was naturally drawn to, because I wanted to protect her from the crowd, right? And this picture is the last picture I took of her smiling and alive. Yeah, so this is probably my favorite picture of them all. Now, why do I share this with you? Because as humans, and now that she's not here, I understand the feeling to my core. As humans, we understand the weight of a voice. AI doesn't. Whenever we talk to somebody, you guys have come here to this talk because you wanted to hear me speak, because maybe the video that I shared you found interesting. Maybe it's just, you love coming to meetups, whatever reason. But now that you're here, we are building this connection. We are building this experience, this history. 2 days down the line, this will be a great memory, right? But AI doesn't know that. AI doesn't feel that. When Mama was there, every day walking to the office, I'm like talking to her, and she's like, Mama, did you have your breakfast? And she's like, yeah, I did. It's like, liar. No, you didn't. And then when I'm really busy running to work, I'm like, Mom, I have a meeting. I can talk to you for 2 minutes, but I need to go. Yeah, have you had your lunch? Yeah, I'll have it after my meeting. And she knows I'm not going to be having it after my meeting. So then she calls me after the hour to ask me if I've had my lunch. That is history. We have built a rapport. We know each other, and there is history. We understand human inflections, the way we talk, the sarcasm, the double meanings, right? We understand the nuances in how we communicate with each other, the tone of voice, the subtlety, being loud, being angry, and we understand sarcasm really, really well. AI doesn't. So, missing my mom, I wanted to build something. Okay? And late 2024, I started seeing these videos on Instagram and Facebook, which were literally time capsule videos. So people were getting flowers and cards, boxes of chocolates, letters from the loved ones who had passed away. And that was like probably 3.5 years that my mom had passed, and I really missed her. I'm like, why am I seeing these videos now? Like, it's ridiculous that I have to see all of this nonsense when I can't have any of that for my mom. And I became desperate. I'm like, I really want to build something. I don't know what, but I really want to build something. But I wanted to also build something that if my mom had known of, maybe she would have used. I wouldn't know the answer for sure, but it's a possibility. She was not tech savvy, but I could have helped. But first, I needed to build a business case. Why? Because 16 years in UX, guys, 16 years in UX has taught me that if you don't have a business case, you don't have a product and you don't have a feature. Even a feature needs to have an MVP version to show that it works in order for it to be built, the entire journey to be built out. So I needed to build a business case. I did a lot of research on Manus, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. Turns out there are lots of people who may need it. There were loads of competitors, but they were not well known. Yeah? There are terminally ill patients. There are mental health individuals and high-risk frontline workers. And frontline workers include people in the Navy, in the military, across the globe, right? People who know they are at DEATH door, but don't have a way to actually reach out to their loved ones at that particular time. So while I was doing all of my research, leading causes of death, etc. Now, what you see here is just an infographic created by Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is one of my favorite platforms for infographics. So I put all of the data that I had gathered in 2024 and put it in Notebook LM, and this is the infographic it created for me, right? Now, what I wanted to do and what I decided with AI to do is to have paid users who will fund gifted letters. So it's a paid forward kind of scheme, because I don't want people to be burdened with the fact that they don't have money to send letters to their loved ones. And I wanted to do 10-year emotional time capsules. Why 10 years? Because it's year 5 and I still miss her, right? So I'd love to hear her voice for 5 more years. Maybe some people wouldn't, but maybe some people would. Maybe my mom decides I'm going to leave messages only for 2 years for her. Like, just wish her happy birthday twice and I'm done with it. And I called it Echo Note, because you're echoing and it's a note. Turns out there's a 23 billion digital legacy market with ethical AI if we are able to build one. Now, the triage reality here is, if I'm What you see here is what I built on Bolt. For those of you who don't know Bolt is a vibe coding platform. It's bolt.new. It's similar to Lovable, Emergent, V0, all of the other vibe coding platforms. And it helps, you just give it an idea and it builds stuff for you, right? But what I wanted to do was I wanted to take part in the hackathon, and I really wanted to build this, but it doesn't make sense. People who are sick, who are critically in the hospital, would they say, "Hey, get me my laptop, I want to send a message"? No. They need a bloody phone, right? They have the mobile phones, then they can leave messages, they can record messages. If not, they can't. So already step one down. But to be part of the hackathon, I just built it because also I had won 3 hackathons in the past and I was on a roll. I also was helping another platform, and one of the lead devs over there, Sarah, and she did a really great job here. She was actually battling cancer. And she said to me that a platform like this would be very helpful for her because she doesn't know how much time she has, right? So she really felt what I wanted to achieve. She felt that as well, but from a different perspective. She wanted to leave messages. I would have received them. In this prototype that you see is directly recorded from Bolt. And over here, what I allowed them to do is to add a picture. They can add videos, they can record a voice. What we also set up was for them to be able to, when they record a voice, for it to actually show it in text here. So if they want to make any changes, they can make it in text and not have to re-record everything, and AI will fix it. Now, the problem I found as I was researching, and while Sarah was building fixing the magic links and stuff like that, and it was just a fleeting thought, right? What if people use this platform to blackmail people? What if people use this to scam people, catfish others? Is it possible? So I did my own QA. I'm like, I put up, a few lewd pictures that I found on Google. It let me. I recorded messages that I will never say again ever in my life, and it let me. And even the dummy email that I was sending it to, it let me send it, and scheduled ahead as well. I did that for 3 years. It let me schedule those kind of messages and pictures for 3 bloody years. That's not what I want to do. I don't want my empathic app to become a dangerous weapon. And that reality really broke me down, because I started this with so much love and longing for my mom to be able to help other people. But at the same time, this got me back to reality. Like, it can be used for the wrong reasons. Am I going to be the person who makes that happen? No way. So, AI doesn't understand human legacy, right? Of course, AI is brilliant. We need to give AI the freedom to explore, but it is on us humans to set guidelines. As designers, our new job description is to design the unhappy paths. Guys, by unhappy paths, it is AI does a fantastic job of doing point A to point B, let's figure it out. Now it's becoming even smarter. It can look at edge cases, right? If you have password error, it will fix it for you, right? You want magic links, or you want 6-digit codes as confirmations, it will help make it happen. But things like what I just shared with you, AI will not be able to think about. Why? Because it's human intent. It's not AI intent, it's human intent to harm other humans, right? And that is the unhappy part that I'm going to be sharing today. So I went back to my app and I decided that, of course, with Manus Perplexity and ChatGPT, Claude was nowhere in the picture at that time for me. And I went back and I built out these 7 agentic gatekeepers, so to speak. I said guardrails, right? I had a master I had a master, like a manager, and the subordinates, which are these 7 over here. These 7, they would check for tone alignment and clarity. We don't want the wrong things to be said in the wrong way. I hate you versus I hate you but I love you is very different. Yeah. Emotional sensitivity, the legacy detection, delivery format, AI writing companion. This was the best one that actually came up. So each of these guardrails, each of these subordinates had a persona. They had their own job descriptions. They had clear cut instructions what they can and they cannot do. It's literally like the job instructions that we get. You cannot ask a designer to be a salesperson, right? It won't work. But in AI it was the same thing. All of them had their own different roles, but all of them needed to speak to each other while the messages are being recorded, while the pictures are being uploaded. They talk to each other. Is this okay? Is this not okay? How do we fix it? It could be showcased in the form of an error message. It could be showcasing, we suggest this. And if the user says, I do not want to do this, then we do not send the message unless they fix what needs to be fixed. So there were, maybe that is a friction point for a lot of people with a lot of pain and hatred that they want to share. But at the same time, I don't want people to be using this platform as a legacy for hatred and evil. So 7 guardrails, 1 manager. The 1 manager would tell me exactly what happened, what was right about the message, what was wrong, what were the fixes, what happened after, and if it's scheduled, when is it scheduled for? And then I would say, okay, fine, let's do it. So I was the human SOS in there. Now, the technical architecture of trust is built by giving AI a moral compass, like the guardrails. It cannot ignore, and it is a non-negotiable boundary. AI needs the freedom to be empathic. It doesn't know what empathy is. Somebody who's building it is telling it what empathy is. They're sharing their feelings, all of the nuances, but AI can't feel, right? Even the robots that you see, they're all mechanical. You kick them, they won't actually feel it. They'll fall, but they won't feel the pain. So AI needs the freedom to be empathic. AI also needs the rigidity of its safety protocols. Now, talking about safety, did you guys, I'm sure you must know, Dario Amodei actually said no to a $200 million deal with the Pentagon when they wanted to use Anthropic for military to, do the bombings. Now, why is that important? Because they felt that, Anthropic is not ready with its guardrails. The safety measures are not ready to be used by people who may use it any way they want, and which will actually harm the rest of the world, could potentially harm the rest of the world. Well, OpenAI, Sam Altman jumped in the same day and he said, we'll take it, right? But then what happened next? As soon as they lost that deal, they hit #1 on the App Store. They became like, this is a story of how saying no to 200 million turned out to be the smartest product decision in AI. Why did this happen? If it was AI's call, they would have taken the deal. And because it's human, because of the safety measures that they were concerned about, why did they become #1 on the App Store? It's because humans, other people across the globe felt it. They felt that they have our best interest at heart, right? They realized that Anthropic is not playing hardball. They really care, and that care. If you read the news, lots of people actually cancelled out ChatGPT subscriptions and transitioned over to Claude. And Claude made it really easy to get all of the chats that you had with ChatGPT into Claude by one little prompt. So I want to let's listen to this.
Fire aircraft who says this aircraft is not safe to fly above a certain altitude or to turn at a certain speed. We didn't make these systems to be safe if you use them in that particular way, right? They're not suitable for this use case.
And was there anything specific? I mean, your model was used in Venezuela, it's being used in Iran. Is there anything in his existing?
Look at his face. He's so worried.
We started with a substantially more limited contract that enabled a more limited number of use cases that I think is in force maybe even until today. This was all about negotiating a new contract.
And one more.
That, right? What if you have an army of 10 million drones instead of 10 million human soldiers? What are the norms of the AI-driven drones? I think if we handle this wrongly, you could have a situation where there's a very small number of people or one person who has their hand on the button. And we need to answer these questions because we don't want to make companies more powerful than the government, but we also don't want to make government so powerful that it can't be stopped. We have both problems at once.
While companies battle out the politics and the internal workings of a company, listening to hippos and political figures, we need to play a role as well, right? We can't just rely on them to do the good job. We can take charge of what we build, be it a product or a feature we design for the bigger journey. In the AA era, remember, after agents era, friction is officially a feature. Like gamification, right? In games, you have a lot of friction. The anticipation, you want to achieve it, you want to get to the goal, but there's so many stumbling blocks that you have to jump through. There are hoops that you have to jump through, and when you get it, you get the prize. So I had promised you guys 6 protocols of honest AI. All of these protocols will stop AI from telling you what you want to hear. Now, everybody uses AI differently, right? Everybody uses them for different reasons. Some do it for research, some do it for end-to-end businesses. I am currently building an app for running, and I'm using Claude and a VS Code, but that's kind of about it. Claude has now stopped backing me up on things that I wanted to back me up. It's pushing back as much as it possibly could, and I appreciate it. Now, first one is the prove it rule. Never accept an AI's first yes for an answer. Oh, sorry. So, why is that? Because the first thing that AI will tell you is, it's a brilliant idea. Let's get on to it. It doesn't want to do the thinking. It just wants to get on with it. No, don't push back. You can push back as well. You don't need to agree with what the AI says. There's the persistent switch, where you assign AI a persistent, non-negotiable role, build it into the persona of the AI platform itself. If you are using it as a team, the persona will be different, the ask will be different. If you're using it for yourself, for personal reasons, it will be different. There's a reverse interview protocol where you can add custom prompts asking the AI to interrogate you for any ask. And this comes in really handy because you want AI to be asking you questions until you have clarity on what you want to achieve. What is your goal? Not a high level goal, not a bird's eye view. Actually, what's your goal? What's your, let's say, your North Star vision, and how do you get there? Let's then break it down and walk backwards. And let's start with a MUP, which is a minimal usable product. The cowardice ban. So, this is for the dev teams, possibly, who can hard code rules into your team's AI instructions. So, when AI speaks to you, it's bound to kind of agree with what you have to say, right? I've been saying this all along. But if you're a team, you don't want the AI to be saying yes to every single person. You want it more like a teammate, like a colleague, like somebody you can bounce off ideas with instead of yes, yes, yes. So hard code rules into your team's AI instructions that explicitly forbid diplomatic honesty. You don't want them agreeing with you. You don't want them to know who the hippo is in the room so that they don't know who, the highest paid person in the room, and they need to agree like humans do. The human SOS, I've already explained that. And then the reverse engineer drill. This is probably my favorite one. I created a Google gem for this for myself. So before you ship any product, any feature, even before you start a new business that you're thinking of, I did this for my podcast. You reverse engineer everything that you're planning to build or you have built. Ask it to break it down, give you all of the areas that are broken that you need to really, really work on. And it gives you a reality check that what you have built is probably not enough in today's world. You need to do better. And then you can move on from there. You force it to work backwards to identify the exact human decisions that led to that disaster. That equals accountability. Now, with those 6 protocols, I have also included 4 protocols for agentic UX that I use. Yeah. So the vibe check. Before executing a command, the AI scans the user's emotional tone. Like I mentioned, AI understands the patterns. The way that we interact with AI when we are relaxed, when we are, or energized, or we have an idea, will be very, very, very different from the way that we chat with AI when we are anxious or we are frustrated. And it gets those patterns, and over time it builds out its own persona of us. And if we are behaving a certain way, panic, anxiety, frustration, it can suggest us to slow down and then give me a break and then proceed on from there. It can pause actions and ask for clarifying questions. So when you're frustrated, you're thinking too much, take a few steps back, think a little bit more. Proof of intent. Force AI to explicitly type out why it's making a decision. I don't want any AI, even for the app that I'm building, I don't want any AI to be making decisions for me and to be saying yes for the sake of it. I want to know why. What are competitors doing out there that makes what I'm building a little different? Is there anything at all? What value do I add to the market, to the people who will be using this if this feature goes live? The time machine. Introduce mandatory time delays for irreversible decisions. So, for impulsive late night mistakes. This is a really cool story. So, about a month back, I was thinking of an app to build, not the one that I'm building. And I had spent 3 whole nights up to like 2 o'clock in the morning chatting away. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. And this is Chat GPT, okay? And I'm like, okay, I want to do this. Chat GPT, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. It says, okay, all right, good night. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, wait, I have one more question. And then it continue and it continue. And 3 whole days I had not slept. I had bags under my eyes and almost like, oh, you look like a panda. So to ensure that I don't have late night mistakes, there came a point where even ChatGPT was like, you know what, you've been working with me for 3 days straight. Let's stop here. I'll talk to you after 8 hours. It recognized a pattern of me saying, I'm going to sleep, I'll come back to you, and continuing my way of communicating where I was like really energized, trying to get ideas from it, must have dwindled down into like, okay, now what do we do? Now next what? It like really anxiety, let's get things going. I can't understand this code because I ain't coder. So how do I fix this? And it was so overwhelming, and it could probably figure that out. So, it gave me time off. Basically, it put me in time out. And the hard no. Give your product a spine. Now, Claude is doing this for me. Anything I say, I had a really great vision for my app that I want to build. Really massive, really super. I think it's great. It's not validated, but in my mind, it's brilliant. But Claude said, you know what? If you want this app out in 2 weeks, we need to get down. I was like, I'm not doing viable. I don't want to do minimal viable. I want to do minimal usable product. So something people can use and, be happy to use. I don't want it only to be a technical feasibility. I'm not working with coders. I can do the usability part. So now, anytime I deviate away from that and say, Claude, can we also do this? It's like, girl, hold your horses. Let's just take a step back, and this is what we can achieve in 2 weeks. Let's stick to the plan. And That's a damn bloody hard no. So, the main takeaway here, guys, is look at your current roadmaps. Yeah, it's time to put on your villain's hat, but for all the right reasons. Because only humans can understand other humans, only humans can feel the intent of other humans. AI can anticipate only as much as we tell it to. They are on their way to become sentient, but can they actually get the human emotions is still to be seen. So for now, we need to ensure that while the AI companies are doing their job, we need to do our job in ensuring safety for everybody as well. So that's it. Any questions?